Hey guys, what is up? So today's video I want to talk about omega-3 to omega-6 balance, because this is something that can be so influential with your skin and any kind of inflammation on the skin, like eczema, psoriasis, acne, anything of that kind of sort. So firstly, omega-3 and omega-6 are fatty acids, and both these are very beneficial for the body, but they need to be in the right balance. So typically what we should be aiming for is about a 1-to-1 ratio or a 1-to-2, where the omega-6 is just slightly higher than our omega-3. But the thing is, in our diet now, like with our Western diet, we are actually hitting more of a 1-to-20. So our omega-6 is at a 20 and our omega-3 is at a 1. And when this happens and when our ratio is out of balance, can be very pro-inflammatory in the body. I think omega-3 is much more well known now, and a lot of people do take it in supplement form because they, hear about its inflammatory effects. But in today's video, I want to give some tips that you can also do just when it comes to your diet, some easy little changes that can make a really big difference on this ratio, and hopefully it will help you guys out, especially if you are suffering with your skin and it is being triggered from inflammation. So let's start with the omega-6 side and talk about some of the things that can really increase your omega-6 and really trigger this process. So anything in that processed food realm, anything that could be fatty or fried, smoked, all these kinds of foods, they can really increase our omega-6. So if there's one small change you can make that's going to help this balance, is reducing how much processed food you are eating. That alone will really substantially help with your ratio, because these foods are the things that really trigger this omega-6 to go up. And if you think about the Western diet, our diet is very much led now on processed food. We have so much option out there, so you can see how it makes so much sense with our ratio being so out of whack. Okay, so the next thing when it comes to omega-6 is your nuts and your oils. So we're talking about all your cooking oils, any kind of oils really, olive oil as well, and also your nuts. Now these foods, first I just want to say these are actually very healthy foods and they are good for us, so I'm not saying to avoid these. With these foods, it's about moderation, just making sure that we're not overdoing it, and also making smart choices with them. So for example, let's start with oils. With oils can be different whether you have them raw or you heat them and you have them cooked. Typically when you cook them, the properties of them do change and you lose a lot of the benefits. So really when it comes to cooking, like I always actually try and cook with water where I can and just actually reduce my oil intake there, because I find it's not as necessary. But for example, on a salad, absolutely fine, because you're getting all the benefits of that oil and it's actually going to be very beneficial for the body. With oils, they can tend to naturally be higher on the omega-6. So if you're having oils on top of your salad, you're cooking with oils, you're having oils with everything, that could just be like alone increasing that omega-6 for you. So maybe it's just about just reducing it in some areas, not getting rid of it, but just maybe, like I said, maybe you reduce it when you're cooking, or you change up your salad dressings from time to time. So yeah, look out for your oils, make sure you're not overdoing it with oils. Now this is very, very similar with nuts. These contain amazing benefits for us, but some nuts can have a much higher omega-6 content to omega-3. So for example, Brazil nuts, I actually was talking about this last weekend. I can't remember the exact number, but it's like over 1,000 something in omega-6. It's very, very high. And where you compare it to, like, for example, a walnut, where the ratio to omega-3 and omega-6 is much more balanced. So this is an area where I think it's better to make some smarter choices. So for example, if you're just gonna have like a snack of like 1 or 2, 3, 4, whatever nuts, then having a Brazil nut here and there is not going to be bad for you. Like I have 2 Brazil nuts a day, absolutely fine. But if you're having, for example, nut butter like on your breakfast or in a smoothie, and you're using like a big tablespoon of it, this is a place where maybe you want to have a look into the nuts to try and choose one that's going to be a little bit less than that omega-6. So when it comes to nut butters, you want to be careful with things like peanut butters. That is really high in omega-6. So I don't actually have peanut butter at all. So something you could switch out your peanut butter for would be something like walnut butter. Like I actually make walnut butter myself, and it's very, very easy to do. I have a video on it if you want to go see it. So just making some smart choices there can actually reduce your load of the omega-6, and actually at the same time up your omega-3. So for example, with the walnuts, that can actually help up your omega-3. So yeah, you're kind of doing that with the ratio. So yeah, we want to reduce our processed food, reduce basically everything we know we shouldn't eat, all our fatty food, sweets, fried food, all that kind of stuff. We want to be careful with our oils, be careful with our nuts, but then we want to increase some of our omega-3s. So some things that you can pop in the place of some of the things you've taken out is things like oily fish. These are fantastic. So if you do eat fish, things like salmon, sardines, herring, mackerel, anchovies. These are fantastic sources of oily fish which you can have, and basically that can up your omega-3, very, very beneficial for the body. If you don't eat salmon, there's some ways you can up your omega-3 are things like flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds. These are things that are so easy to put in anything. Like, you can put them in your breakfast, you can put them in smoothies, you can even just put them in food as well. Like, honestly, you don't really taste them, so maybe not chia seeds, or maybe we won't put chia seeds in food, but like flax seeds and hemp seeds, literally you can like sprinkle on top of salads, you can put them into like soups, you wouldn't even taste that they're there. So yeah, super, super easy to get into your diet that way. Or of course, if you don't eat salmon and you do find it hard to keep up your omega-3, that's when you can also look into your supplementation, because you can actually get vegan omega-3 oils now. So yeah, that is actually on the market, so you can definitely look into that option if you feel like you need it. When it comes to my personal experience of balancing my ratio, I find for me my biggest triggers can be nuts and oils. They're the things that I've got to keep my eye out for. And also like even with like the type of fat, like even with like coconut as well, like I mean I can't touch coconut now, I realise that my body just hates it and it makes me break out anyway. But yeah, that could be another thing, you know, maybe as well that could be one of the driving factors for me. Maybe it was just too much saturated fat, because coconut is a saturated fat. So, you know, just making sure that you're not overdoing it on something in your diet, sometimes that can be really helpful. So just looking at your diet, what you're eating at the minute. And actually I tell you what's really helpful is you can get like even what's it, MyFitnessPal. Don't recommend doing this like on a daily thing, but like if you're just interested to see what you are actually getting through your food, pop a whole day's food diary into MyFitnessPal and see you know, the measurements that come up and see what you are actually getting. I actually used, oh my god, what was it called? Is it called not Chronometer? I used another one which I can't remember the name. I'll pop it in the description box on the screen now if I can find it. But yeah, using one of these types of softwares where you can put your whole day's food diary in and see actually how much you are consuming, and it will tell you how much omega-6 or omega-3 you are having, and then you can really see, whoa, like where's your ratio at basically, and it can be really helpful. So maybe doing that just to see, give you an idea of where your diet's currently sitting with things like this. But yeah, for me, I have to be careful with the nuts and oils. I always notice it in my skin if I overdo it on like too many nuts. But yeah, I still eat nuts. That being said, I mean, I still have them. It's just about balance and moderation, like the quantity. And like variation as well. Actually, I think variation is a really key thing. Sometimes it's very easy for us to get stuck on the same foods and eat them all the time, but variation is so important, not only for like with what we're talking about today, but just in general with our diet and even with our microbiome and our gut and everything. Variation is very important. But overall, guys, in a nutshell, making this ratio a bit more balanced to a 1:1 or a 1:2 is going to be really, really helpful with your body when it comes to inflammation, and really just reducing that inflammation load on the body. And this can, you know, show really, really great benefits with the skin, I mean, and everything else actually with your body. You'll see benefits in other areas of your body as well. So yeah, I really hope today's video is helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions, leave them down below. And even if you have any like other tips that you have when it comes to this subject, I'd love to always hear your guys' tips as well. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel if you haven't already. And like I said at the beginning, come follow me on my new Instagram, Ebony's_acne_tips. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and to myself right now, pop another video if you want to go check out some more from me. But I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye.